Hi. Hi. My name's Aaron Orth. Welcome to a little reading I'm going to do. It's off of a book I started writing, and I just want to see what some of the input is and if I'm touching the right base or anything like that. It's called An Employee and Consumer's Guide to Running a Business. And this is a little insert from that. I have worked in different jobs and listened to different people talk about their bosses and what they should do different. As a consumer of goods and services, I have found and heard from people the things some companies are doing wrong. I am writing this book as a testament to things I believe could make every business and every workplace the most profitable and great place to work. As far as I know, these things will make any company a rich and wealthy place, and also a place that will have less turnaround. I believe these will work even though they have not been tested. So if you try some of these things and they work, I would love to hear from you. First things first, if you're reading this book, your company is not yet but could be a multi-million-dollar company. And even if it is a multi-million-dollar company, these little tweaks could move you even farther into the next level. My first question to you is, what do you have to believe is holding your company back from reaching its full power? Write down your answers here on a separate piece of paper. Go ahead and pause this and write down whatever you feel is holding you back. For instance, one of the biggest problems I have that's holding me back is myself. I procrastinate and keep telling myself I need to do this, I need to do that, but until I actually sit down and do it, I'm holding myself back. That's why I'm making this video. Is it's one of those things I've been putting off, and now I'm going to make it. Now, if your answer is longer than one page, read through it and find some key points that you see as a reason. If one of the reasons is that the economy is to blame, I don't buy it. There are several companies out there that grew stronger during and have always grown during decline in the markets. All a down economy means is that there are more people looking to come to work for you. When you start seeing that picture, you start seeing ways to grow your company. Sometimes it's just opening into new markets, or even offer some added benefits to them to buy from you. Some might be just offer some classes, open the doors to new side companies, finding new investors, but most of that is up to you. Most of this I will touch on later. If one of your other answers is money, I don't buy that either. There's always more ways to bring more money in. This I will also discuss later. For one, a good source is, I'm sure you all have heard of Shark Tank. But another good source is there's all sorts of funding available through different crowdfunding experiments, as far as bringing in some funds doing some crowdfunding. Another thing you might say is you don't have any strong employees. Well, this is one of the biggest problems that this book will discuss. The one problem that should not be a problem is lack of time. If that is the cause, you are straight up lying to yourself and might not be the owner material. Also remember, some of the greatest managers in the world don't make good owners. But if you follow some of my advice, you could be the greatest manager and owner of any company. Because the most important part of being an owner is also being a manager. There are probably some other things in your list I have not touched base on. Hopefully through the course of this book or video, I will touch on all your bases. If I don't, you can feel free to set this book down and write me and get a hold of me somehow, and maybe we can find some other way about solving your problems. But by working on these rules, or at least some of the rules, you will find your solution. My main list of rules is in no order as far as how important each one is, Some might be as important as others to you, but I believe they are all equally important. I will break down and explain why each rule might be. But for right now, I'm just going to give a quick sample of some of these rules. For instance, if employees are working, the owners should also be working. Owners keep their nose clean. You can never have too many salesmen. Family comes first, then the company, but only direct family. And most of that is your spouse and kids, unless there is some health problems facing any other family members. Don't set a date for a job till you know for sure the current one will be done. Don't start a job on a Friday. Don't chase lost money, which is a big problem a lot of companies face, is they try to raise their prices in order to get back money they might have lost on another job. Well, that in turn just keeps roller coasting and causing you to lose more and more money. You need to face each job as if it's your first and only job. Just learn from your previous mistakes. Don't threaten to take breaks away. That I've seen time and time again in other companies is cutting down on breaks. Don't show your anger to your employees. Owners and manager meetings should take place during non-working hours, and you never need more than 2. There is no need. Things aren't changing that fast that you need to have meetings 2-3 times a day. Any meetings should be done because management needs to be accessible to the employees on the floor if they're having any problems. And having a meeting in the middle of the day, why can't that meeting go on before work and after work when everybody's home? When your employees are home, or have a meeting twice a week with the workers, and no more and no less. You need to have at least 2 meetings a week, probably one on Monday and probably do another one on Wednesday, to discuss with your workers the progress and what is going on. If you face a big job, try to start it as a small job, telling the customer to test you out. Keep constant contact with the customer on an almost weekly basis, which is a problem I have. I have a problem doing that sometimes. Once again, it's my own personal fears that's getting in my way. Once you start a job, don't start another job till that one is done. That is a key one, which I will discuss later. A family person makes a good owner. When you got a good family and you raise a good family and you keep your company family oriented and treat your employees as your family, you will be a good owner. A good gambler makes a good boss. Going in and owning your own company is a gamble in itself. If the employees are off the clock, don't talk about work. Once the employees leave work, unless they're management, which is on a salary based anyhow, once you leave the place, why do you want to come back and talk about work? You know, when you're not on the clock, most employees don't want to talk about work unless they bring it up themselves. There is always other markets out there. Make your employees like your best friends. Never change something without offering something back to the employee right away. The best reward for good hard work is paid time off. Don't let employees see your weakness. Keep good communications, which is a huge problem in most companies. I don't know how many companies out there are always talking about how they need to improve their communications, but they don't do anything to improve their communications. Owners must keep in good shape. A good healthy owner is what most of us want. To know that the owner is not going to keel over dead and the business is going to go away. Time is not money. Time is far more important. So you got to treat your employees when they're in there working. It's not just a matter of how much money they're making. It's how much time they're spending away from their family and other things they enjoy doing. The more time off the employee can have and still make a decent pay, the happier that employee will be. If an employee is making $70,000 or even $100,000 a year, but only working not even 40 hours a week and can support everything they like to do and have a lot of extra time and not going home completely exhausted every night and able to spend time with their family and do things with their wife and kids, or if they're single, be able to date, then you have a happy employee. Don't have any added income. Live off and set yourself into the payroll. Don't just live off of the profits of the business. Try to live off of what you're paying your employees as you're building this business. Understand employee needs and want and learn from them. I'll discuss that more in a little bit. You can always learn from your employees. Your employees are your biggest assets. They can tell you everything you need to know. Let employees have the weekends off. That is one of the key. One of my biggest things is keeping them to there's any reason that your employees need to work more than 40 hours a week, man, that you're forcing them to, then there's something wrong with your planning. These are just some simple rules. I am first going to touch base on some of these rules. I have not tested, but with the sale of this book, I plan to open a company and just go totally off of these rules. Over the next several chapters, I will break down these rules and why I feel they need to be there. I will also keep each one short so as not to go or feel like I'm going on and not say anything. Now just remember, these rules are suggestions, are just from the consumer and employee. You don't have to follow any of them, or just maybe pick a couple that sound good and follow those. But if you're reading this, your company is not a big multi-million-dollar company. Yet these things I'm offering could be the very thing to help you become one. Over the next several sections, I'm going to break down each one of the I gave you a description of why I see that it is important. I will try not to be too wordy or long-winded on each one. Also remember, if you are reading this book, then you do see that you need to change in some things in your company. And a way to tell if you need to make some changes, as if your company has not made good enough profits to live off of, or still keep payroll in the next 2 years. As is said, is any company is growing. All companies need to grow. Once a company stops growing, that's when a company opens itself for failure. This is just the intro to it. I will start reading more section 1, section 2, and all the different chapters as I go through. Thank you for your time. Please, if you're interested in this, leave a message and I will continue to process through this book I'm working on. And with that, I bid you adieu. Please tune in later for section 1.